All right, this is the algebra practice test over equations. So I'm going to work all of these out for you. You can either work them out with me as I do it, or you can work it out ahead of time and fast forward and just make sure your answers are correct. So on your test, you will have to show all your work. So don't just try these in your head and guess and check. You need to show what you did. So for number 1, 3y minus 8, you are going to add 8 to both sides. All right, bring down your 3y. 16 plus 8, oh gosh, that is 20. 16 plus 8, totally using a calculator. Go ahead and use one if you need to too. In fact, use one anyway, just to make sure you don't make a mistake. It's 24, last step, divide both sides by 3, y equals 8. Be awesome if you guys can practice circling your final answer so I can find it easily and then I'll check out your work as well. All right, number 2, x is being divided by 3, so let's leave that alone and let's get rid of the plus 12 first by subtracting 12 on both sides. Bring down your x divided by 3. Remember, negative 4 minus 12 is not 8 or negative 8. Go ahead and use your calculator to check. This is negative 4 minus 12. That is negative 16. All right, and then the last step, x is being divided by 3, so you're going to do the opposite, which is multiply by 3 on both sides, and that would be negative 16 times 3, so I still have negative 16 on here from before, times 3 is negative 48. Be careful with your positives and negatives. All right, number 3. Keep the negative 7 with the b for now, and let's get rid of plus 5 by doing minus 5. Bring down negative 7b. Remember, negative 51 minus 5 is a greater negative, so that is negative 56. I just realized my b looks like a 6, so be careful there. Last step, look at your variable. If it's a negative 7 next to it, you're dividing by a negative 7. Divide by exactly what's next to your variable, what's being multiplied by it. So here's where a lot of people missed it on the first quiz we took. You didn't realize that a negative divided by a negative is going to be a positive. So just use your calculator. Negative 56 divided by negative 56 divided by negative 7 equals positive 8. Always check on your calculator. Number 4. All right, so we've got some like terms here. We have a 7 and a minus 13. So I'm going to put it in my calculator exactly how I said it. 7 minus 13. 7 minus 13. Negative 6. So these combine to be negative 6. So I'm going to bring down my 8r. And I'm going to bring down my 58. I think some of you might have gone ahead and added 13 to both sides first, and that's fine. You can do it like that. And then you'll subtract 7 from both sides. If you do it like that, you will get the same answer I do. I just chose to combine my like terms first. So with doing it the way I'm doing it, I would add 6 next. 8r equals, what's that, 64? So then the last step you would do is divide by 8. R equals 64 divided by 8, which is 8, right? 64 divided by 8. Yep, okay. The next one is, okay, here's what's tricky. A lot of you might have wanted to add 126, but you can't do that because if you add 126 on both sides, you can't combine it with something that has a y. So you don't want to add 126 first. Instead, you want to move the 4y because that can be combined with the negative 14y. So always look for the like terms and move things around that fit together. So I'm going to actually subtract 4y on both sides. All right. Negative 14y minus 4 more y is negative 18y. And that equals negative 126 over here. All right, divide both sides by negative 18, because that's exactly what's next to your variable. And I have no idea what that is, so I'm going to use my calculator, like you guys will be able to do on your quiz. So we've got here, 126 negative divided by 18 negative is positive 7. All right, number 6. Doesn't matter if you move any of these 4 terms first. I have a tendency to move my variable first. So, and I don't want to minus 5p because that's going to be a negative over here, and I like to try to avoid negatives. So I am going to call that a hidden invisible 1p, and I'm going to subtract it. So I'm going to minus that 1p from both sides. That will be 5p minus 1p is 4p, plus 24 equals negative 96. All right, then I'm going to subtract 24 from both sides. 4p equals, there's lots of this practice. I hope you guys are understanding negative 96 minus 24, because there are a lot of those apparently. Minus 24 is negative 120. And the last step would be divide both sides by 4. P equals negative 30. All right, going on to this last row. Well, kind of the last. You need to distribute first. If you have parentheses, you need to get rid of those first. So 3 times 4x is 12x. 3 times negative 10 is minus 30, or negative 30. So we are going to add 30 to both sides first. Bring down your 12x. Negative 54 plus 30 is negative 24. Divide both sides by 12. X equals negative 2. Double check that answer, but I believe that is correct. All right, number 8, look for like terms. I see a negative 6y and a plus 4y. Negative 6y and plus 4y can go ahead and be combined. Negative 6 plus 4 is a negative 2y. Don't forget your y. Bring down your plus 14 equals 32. So the next thing I want to do is minus 14 on both sides. Negative 2y equals whatever 32 minus 14 is. 18. And the last step is to divide by exactly what's next to my variable. So divide by negative 2 on both sides, which should be negative 9. Double check that that's correct. I think it is. All right, number 9. We want to distribute first on both sides. All right, so 3 times x is 3x. 3 times 5 is positive 15, so put that plus. 2 times 3x is 6x, and 2 times 12 is 24, and it's positive 24, so put that plus. All right, any of these 4 terms could be moved next, but I am going to choose to move my variable. So I'm going to subtract 3x from both sides. And that leaves 15. On this side, 6x minus 3x is 3x. Bring down your plus 24. Next, I'm going to subtract 24 from both sides. I don't know what 15 minus 24 is. It's negative 9 equals 3x. So the very last step is divide both sides by 3. X equals negative 3. All right, let's check out this word problem. So it says the bill for the repair of a computer was $179 total dollars. Okay, the cost of the parts was $44. So just to order the parts to fix it, it cost $44. And then they also charged labor, which was $45 per hour. How many hours? So we don't know how many 45s we paid. So however many hours that is, plus the $44 totals $179. So I really want you guys to practice setting up an equation and solving it. If you get stuck on this question on your test, I don't really care how you solve it. You could just work backwards and solve it, but I want you to learn how to get in a habit of setting up equations. It'll be a lot easier for you in the future if so. So here's what I would do. I would start by writing the total. We know the total is 179. And if we know it costs 179, what costs 179? Two different things added together. $44, which is labor, plus $45 per hour that we don't know. So $45 per X hour. So this would be how to set it up. And then you could just go through and solve it, just like a basic two-step equation. So I would subtract 44 from both sides first. 179 minus 44, is 135, and that equals 45x. Divide both sides by 45, and that would be 3. I know there's other ways to do this, and that's totally fine, but if you wanted to set up and solve an equation, you would get this answer that way. So 3 hours is how long it took to repair the computer. All right, the most important thing I want you guys to know whenever you see test questions that are multiple choices, you can go fill these in and check to see which ones actually work. So if you're like, I don't know how to solve this, or if I'm getting stuck, just take -5 and put it in here for k and here for k and see that this side of the equation equals this side of the equation, whatever you get. So that's the beauty of having multiple choices. But since we know what we're doing, I'm just going to go ahead and solve it for you so you can get the extra practice. Any of these 4 terms could be moved. I'm going to choose to add 6k to both sides just to get rid of this -6k. So I'm going to add 6k to both sides. Doesn't matter. If you did it a different way, you'll still get the same answer I do, I'm sure. So I'm going to bring down 9. 3 plus 6k is 9k minus your 54. So now I'm going to add 54. And then I've got 9k equals, that would be 63. Divide both sides by 9. I believe 63 divided by 9 is 7. Just checking, always check on your calculator. Yes, it is. So it's +7. So the answer is D, +7. All right, number 12. This is a really good one because there's a D here and a D here. You can't minus 340 first because if you subtract it, it's not a like term with something that has a D. So instead, I need to add 70D because that can be combined with this like term. All right, so it would be 340 over here, -36D plus 70D, -36 plus 70 is +34. D, don't forget your letter, D. Divide both sides by 34. And that would be, it should be 10. 340 divided by 34, yes. So the answer is A. All right, and then the last one, have to distribute first if you have those parentheses. So 3 times x is 3x. 3 times -5 is -15. Bring down your 2x minus 7. I'm going to choose to minus 2x. You can do many different things, but I'm going to choose to minus 2x. 3x minus 2x is 1x, which I'm just going to call x. If you want to squeeze your 1 on there, that's totally fine. Bring down your -15, bring down your -7. All right, then you're going to add 15 to both sides and you'll be done. So x equals whatever -7 plus 15 is. -7 plus 15 is 8. So that would be B.